Still working on it. Yeah.
I've walked by it, looked up at it, and
Yeah, I was given the bag band from the Carlsbad just did. I didn't.
yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be
Well written it was last year. It's going to effect on July 1st. It says everything. Nice, clean, neat. Yeah, it reads better than Berkeley. Makes more sense.
Yeah, because the Berkeley one actually had an opt-out, you could pay for plastic, but I don't think that's right. This Carlsbad is limited, good.
So we look at that, and then my 4-page thing, it now, because I had the Berkeley stuff in there, it needs to leave flow to film.
no, I had to have.
We can mention Berkeley.
When they put all those
Flow
little
on Carlsbad's better, and I printed it finally. When I was at the computer, I didn't see my errors. I finally printed out a piece of paper, oh, I gotta fix that.
You must have used the pen paper, you're like creative and write pen out.
Yeah. But anyway, I want your eye on it whenever you can. Yes.
Are you ready to go now? We're ready to go now? Are we good to go now, Crystal? Okay. Okay, Maria. Should we do a call to order? Roll call?
Here.
Commissioner Kramer,
Present?
Commission Chair Vice Adams,
Present?
Commissioner Parker,
Oh, here.
Commissioner Switzler,
Present.
and Commissioner Morrison.
Present.
Let the record show that we have a quorum with 6 commissioners present and Chair Novi absent.
Fantastic. Okay, moving on to the Pledge of Allegiance. I've asked Commissioner Kramer to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Kramer. Changes to the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda.
Awesome. We're being very efficient. To 4, any oral communications?
Yes, we have one speaker, Scott Campbell, representing the Encinitas Citizen Review Panel on the topic of failure to control debris as part of street dining.
It's so refreshing coming into this room compared to the regular city council meetings. And I'm not here to give you guys a hard time at all tonight, at all. So if you know me at all. What I ask is I want the Environmental Commission to get more involved in these development projects from an environmental aspect. Some of the things that go down is street repaving. And when we do street repaving, oftentimes it makes the road higher than before, and it changes the drainage patterns, usually for the worse. As an example, right in front of my house, I used to have a little puddle. Oh, it's cute. Now it's 40 feet wide, and it takes up a third of the street after they did some street repaving a couple of years ago. This is, I'm sure you're well aware of the sinkholes and stuff like that. This is something that you guys can be active in. Something that's going to come up when I'm going to be very involved in this is lighting. These new apartment buildings are going to have lighting. They're going to have exterior lighting. We have code. It affects plants. It affects birds and insects. Of course, you know that. But you know what? For me personally, it affects my star viewing. Los Angeles, you can't see the stars. We don't want that. Local control. If you're into that at all, this is something that you as a commission can do. And more importantly, oh, nice. It's just going right forward here. Can we just go all the way back? Okay, cool. The city has a sidewalk cafe policy, street dining. You've probably been there. I actually went to one once last 2 weeks ago, Culture. I've never even been to that place before, and I enjoyed myself. I'm kind of ambivalent on the street dining in general, but overall, it's a disaster. I'm just going to focus on environmental aspects today. This is a picture from this morning, and there's going to be many more. The city code doesn't have any requirement for, first of all, can I request a few more minutes on time since we're light on speakers here? Is that okay, Mr. Commissioner?
What are the rules here, Crystal? I think he's got to have someone.
You need to have an additional person here to donate time to you. So
Thank you. Thank you
yeah.
very much. So we got the street dining, and they built these extensions onto their street. There was no provision in the code to clean the mess. This is from this morning. This is just one picture. And from an environmental aspect, what's going on there? We got the stuff that we try to keep out of the storm drains and everything. We're accumulating it. We're accumulating it with no cleanup. It's a breeding ground for bugs. You know, I got to throw some stuff in there. You know, potentially it is. We don't know what's underneath there. I got to assume it's not good. Rats at minimum. You know, this right across the street from where all the people hang out. There's bio waste and stuff too. Okay. So here's some more pictures of this stuff. These coverings. They all are accumulating this. So much down here. Also up in Leucadia too. I didn't go down to the end of the street this morning. You think I'd get good at this?
So you need someone to donate time. So I don't know if you can ask maybe this gentleman, or because you need someone else to donate time to you to keep going.
Sir, would you be willing to donate me 3 more minutes of time?
Crystal,
Thank you.
if we ask Scott questions like, hey, Scott, do you have any more in your presentation? Can he respond to us?
This isn't actually, I'll let Crystal answer, but this isn't the time to do that. You're not really supposed to have a back and forth for oral communications, is my understanding.
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah.
If it were a presentation, you could, but not an oral communication.
Right.
You can ask clarifying questions, but not, can you please continue your presentation? Yeah.
Actually, you can ask questions back, but wait till I get to the end, and you can ask me some questions if you'd like.
So we can't. It's a procedural rule that we can't ask questions in this forum. Do we need to do anything for him to donate time? So he would need to fill out a form to give you the 3 minutes.
Thank you. Okay, we can talk about that.
So hold on a second, yeah.
Clarification question. Where is this? It looks like it's the 101 in front of a restaurant somewhere.
This is the sidewalks right across the street at our street dining, and it's a failure of our city code to have a provision to clean up the environmental hazards and the environmental disaster that's been accumulating since people have been eating and spilling.
So this is the 500 block right here?
Yes.
Okay.
And so my ask is that the Environmental Commission get involved in this a little bit. It's an error in the codes and mission, and you guys you can speak to the city council and the staff and try to get some proactive action on this. So here, okay, this picture is most interesting. The picture on the left, there's this piece of wood, and it's growing stuff. This is not safe. This is not cool. This is right across the street. The one on the right, I can say that is, that's vomit, but I actually don't think it is. But it looks like it. I don't really think it is. There's stuff. There's growing. There's plants are growing in the waste from these street dining things. I'll call this landscaping. They will start growing here as soon as it dries out. And from another aspect, there's going to be thousands and thousands of people here in a week and a half, and this is what they're going to see when they're walking up and down our street. It's embarrassing to me. It really is. Okay, so if you have any questions for me, I'd be willing to answer them, but otherwise, that's my presentation. Thank you, and thank you for your service, especially.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our oral communications.
Can I just make one clarifying question
Yes.
to Scott? Hey, Scott.
We can't do questions, so
I'm going to do a clarifying statement.
that's fine, I guess.
Scott, I'm one of those horrible apartment developers.
I'm one of those horrible apartment developers. And then if you could look in the city code, there is a dark sky ordinance that directs the apartment or any development on how they have to do the lighting. And it's pretty much called the Palomar Observatory kind of dark sky ordinance. So you can check and see if people are complying with that ordinance specifically.
So So we can't have back and forth, and we're actually, that was probably out of procedure too, to be honest. So just so the commission knows, these rules are set up for certain reasons, so you can't have questions, there shouldn't be any back and forth when there's oral communications. If we do want to say something, like a clarifying statement that Commissioner just had, is there a place to do that later on in the meeting or not really?
Not really, to be
Okay.
honest. It's oral communication is meant for speakers to present for 3 minutes to the council with.
Got it. And just so the commission knows that, so there really shouldn't be questions, even if we're passionate about something and we can't have a back and forth at that forum. If it is something we're passionate about, and we've had this happen, where we can ask the person to come back and do a presentation, and then, but I know they would like us to be pretty strict around that.
You're definitely there at the bottom of the meeting on item 10. You can ask for something to be agendized in regards to a topic, or ask staff to look into something like that.
Understood.
But brief. It can't be a discussion of the topic.
Right. Thanks, Crystal. Okay, moving on to presentation. We don't have a presentation today.
That's correct.
And, okay, so moving on to 6, super efficient approval of minutes. So do we have a motion to approve the March 9th meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll second that.
Fantastic. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Moving on to number 7, informational items. Looks like we have none. Action items, the work plan.
Okay, so I will cover the one action item we have tonight, which is going over our work plan and any updates that we have from the last month. So under the first project, which covers commission outreach and representation, I wanted to share that there are some upcoming opportunities for commissioners to participate in if they would like. April 22nd is Arbor Day, and that's at Leucadia Oaks Park. There will be a sustainability booth, and you're welcome to help out with tabling for that. And then on May 25th, there's going to be a Kids Environmental Expo at the Encinitas Library. That's during the week and during the day in the afternoon, and that's another opportunity that you're welcome to help out on.
I'm sorry, what day was that?
That is May 25th. So if you're interested in helping, just feel free to reach out to me and we can schedule it. Or just show up, that's fine too. It's always nice to know in advance though. The Environmental Awards Program, we have the awards nominees were solicited, and 13 eligible nominations were received, and the judges are currently reviewing and selecting the winners. For the native plant policy, I got an update from our staff person who is working on that. So they recently met with the council subcommittee, which is Lyons and Ellers, and local stakeholders to discuss the policy, and they're coordinating with the county as well. And then staff is going to request funds to hire a consultant for next year's budget to complete the policy. And there was a workshop also held for mature tree preservation policy on March 26th. So that's related, but a separate effort, but we wanted to just share that with you. And the public at that meeting was encouraged to watch a presentation and then fill out comment cards online. And that opportunity is actually still open until April 21st. So if you'd like to provide comments regarding the mature tree policy, that's still available. Regarding the no smoking ordinance, that went to council for its adoption last night, and it was approved by city council. So we've got the 90-day time span to wait out, and then the ordinance will be effective at that time. During the 90 days, staff with support of the subcommittee, if interested, is going to do some outreach to businesses, develop the signage, and make sure the community is aware of the ordinance becoming effective. Under item 5, which is the general plan safety element and the climate vulnerability study, the element and study will be reviewed and considered at the Planning Commission meeting on April 20th. And if it's approved by the Planning Commission, the element and study will go to council for adoption in May. Regarding the mobility element update, so this is in process, and here's a more detailed update versus what you've seen in previous meetings. So the existing conditions, goals, and policies have been drafted, and the consultant is currently finalizing street network classification and typologies and working on the mobility analysis guidelines. There was initially a plan to have Sandag do the traffic modeling. However, this has been delayed because of their modeling schedule. And so the current plan is to have the consultant do the modeling. So staff is working on contract amendments to make that happen so that we can get that done sooner. The project ERR needs to wait until the modeling is complete. Okay, the next item is the 5-year climate action plan update. So this also is on hold for the modeling, the same exact modeling actually that we need for the mobility element. So in collaboration with the consultant that's on the mobility plan, we are supporting the moving forward of that modeling effort by the consultant. And once that's complete, then we can develop a timeline for the next phases of the CAP update. The very first thing that would happen is developing the public outreach plan, and then conducting the public outreach concurrent with the effort to update the plan. Okay, a few of these other items have had no changes in the last month. And then on item 13, the integrated pest management policy, I will share that the subcommittee has scheduled a meeting with city staff that will be held on April 21st, and that will be to get an update on a summary of the policy and how the city has been complying with the policy thus far.
Can I ask a question on that?
Sure.
Would that be limited to the subcommittee to not have a quorum present, or is it an open for additional people to sit and listen?
Yeah, it needs to be limited to the
Okay.
subcommittee.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Sure.
A couple of questions. Actually, what time is that meeting? Do you know?
I don't know offhand. I can
yeah,
get
it's
back
not
to
on my
you.
calendar. I need to put it on.
Yeah, I can get back to you on that.
Okay, and
Yeah.
then the one thing that I've wanted to ask for a couple of times, but since we have these public-facing opportunities, would it be possible that the commissioners could get name tags?
Yeah, I can look into that. Yeah, follow up. Yeah.
Because I saw when I got reinstated as a commissioner, there's a lot, most of the other commissions have.
Yeah,
name
you
tags.
should have name tags. We will get you
So I think it
them
would be helpful when
Yeah,
you have a
definitely.
public-facing thing.
for sure. Okay, and then the last update is regarding our B City USA affiliation. And so on March 10th, we received word from B City USA that Encinitas has been certified as an official B City USA. Our application was accepted. And that concludes my presentation.
We were, Commissioner Adams, we were given name tags when I started. So I don't know if they stopped that or what.
You
You
said
guys
were
know?
or were not?
I was.
You were,
When
yeah.
I started, yeah.
Yeah, I will look into it and make sure that you all have name tags.
You didn't get one either? Okay, is that all for action items? Do we need to approve the plan? Yes. Is this as recommended action or no?
Does anyone else have any questions or
Oh,
comments?
sorry. Yes, does anyone else have any questions? Recommendations, comments? Good to go?
Thank you.
So, does anyone want to recommend the action to approve the 2023 work plan update?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Crystal, can I ask a question? Is there any way to reopen for if someone from the public came, wanted to submit a slip, and we have a light agenda and wasn't able to?
Typically, we don't, but I think since you, like you said, it's a pretty light agenda and we have some time, then we can do that. Yeah.
Is anyone opposed to doing that? Okay. Would you like to, I think he still needs to fill out a slip. Yeah? Do you have one for him? You do, okay. Is that okay if we do that? Okay.
I'm confused. I thought I got your work plan mixed up with agenda. Are there agenda items?
I totally get it. It's confusing. If we had an agenda item, you would have been able to procedurally go and speak, so you're good. But did you still want to speak?
Yes.
Yeah. Please do.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
You have 3 related items, and that's integrated pest management. I'm trying to follow along with you. If the public, if I understand, you're trying to get it open to the public? Or no, I misunderstood that. But integrated pest management, native plant, and Bee City USA are all really closely related and connected. What did I do wrong now? Okay. And it just, I for one would like, I'm just surprised there's even a integrated pest management subcommittee, and I just love to be involved, and it's generally you can't observe it. I'm not exactly sure what the common thread here is the pesticides and what's killing off the base of the food chain. What we're working on too is the importance of the honeybee. There is an extent, and you can understand there's a bit of irony. Bee City USA is not out for the honeybee. There are 700 species of bee in California, 2,000 in the world, and everyone knows the bumblebee. I'm curious if you know about the carpenter bee. But all these species are so important, and this little guy was born with deformed wings. We named her Sally, and she would not have made it in the wild. And it's just one of the various species we have. She's very sweet, and they're just amazingly intelligent creatures. And just you know, these massive amounts of poisons were going in. But it gets confusing too, because there are times when invasive species can cause more harm than some of the chemicals. They just need to be applied by professionals that know what they're doing. My classic example is Mount Talon up north. They just outlawed all chemicals outright, and this plant called Scotch broom just overtook everything. And they can't deal with it, and as horrible as Roundup is, they could have combated it. The list goes on, the shot hole borer that's devastating our oaks, the Godzilla weed in the lagoons. If applied correctly, there are places for it. And that's why this integrated pest management is so important, to get everyone on the same page. And you can say goodbye to Sally if you like. And she's just a little sweetie. And but it's important to care for all our species, and that's a message I would like to convey. There was one other important factor I'm missing right now. The Native Plant Society somehow got cut from the loop from the native plant, the local San Diego native plant, and I just implore all of you to get those on board. I hope we can get more people involved in this integrated pest management and the native plant thing, and Bee City USA. And our big endeavors too, yes, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the honeybee. They call it the gateway bug. And once you get involved, you realize how big the problem is, and they all need protection. And I'm hoping we can all join forces and do just that. Thank you.
Sure.
So I do want to say that Encinitas does have an integrated pest management ordinance. Or I don't know the correct term.
It's a policy.
Integrated pest management policy. So it's on the books, and so you can look it up. So,
I commend that, and thank you.
thanks.
Crystal, just for the knowledge of the commission, why, I guess the work plan isn't considered an action item. That's why he couldn't submit a slip on, or not considered an agenda item? Is that why he couldn't submit a slip?
No, he can submit a slip for that item. It is an action item, and there is an opportunity for public comment there. Yeah, I think the confusion might have been, he may have asked to speak under oral communication, and that had passed. So I think that was, yeah,
Got
but
it.
his comments happened to be relevant to the action item.
Got
so
it.
that was what happened. Yeah.
Okay, so we're okay.
Yeah.
We're still, I think, within the lane. Okay. Okay, so back to, so any other, I guess, there's no other, moving on to 9, I guess, Maria, yeah? Any commissioner-initiated action agenda items? So there's none on the agenda, so I think we're
Yeah,
good.
there's none. So you can just skip it.
Moving to number 10, updates of items of interest by the commissioner.
I have a couple. One is in regards to Bee City. They had a webinar, so there's a few of us that are on the subcommittee, and I know James was on it and I was on it. It was huge, so you can't look across and see who else might have been on it. But it was very informative. It was, I'll break it down to no mow spring. It's kind of an East Coast, West Coast when you shouldn't mow. But it was all in the attempt to let things flower so the pollinators have more things that they can pollinate and have as food and habitat. So I relayed that to Crystal, and I believe, hopefully, I think it got into maybe the parts of the city that take care of our parks and mow and stuff, and if it's a strip along a fence or a hillside, to let it just go. They were even advertising signs that says, this is on purpose. This is a no-mow zone for bees, because people look and say, why aren't you keeping this park immaculate? And there's a reason for it. It was very, very good webinar. And then Katie and I are still working at the presentation we did last month on plastic bags, the produce bags and the carry-out bags. We're still middle of working on that. It'll be probably at least a month or so till we are able to approach you with a final product. And then one last update, this Saturday at Moonlight is a beach cleanup by Surfrider from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Anybody wants to attend.
And I have an update, and it's an update from when the flyer was made. So the flyer says that we're going to plant 50 trees, but we're planting them in Leucadia Oaks Park, and Leucadia Oaks Park only needs about 20 trees. And we were hoping to get neighbors to take up the other 30 trees, but only 2 neighbors said that they wanted trees. So this has always been a problem, is that when we offer to plant street trees, people don't know the street tree policy, where the city, and I keep repeating this, I'm sorry, the city will plant a street tree of your choosing. You have a list of 3 trees for each street, but if that doesn't make, we can request a suitable tree. And it will water the tree for 2 to 3 years with the idea of weaning it off water. Okay, so that's the thing about street trees. So we still want to plant 50 trees, and because 50 trees were donated by SDG&E, and so we have 30 more trees. So we're going to give away trees. We're going to give away 30 trees. So this is not on the flyer. So I'm telling you all, so I'm hoping you'll spread the word. So there will be a mix of fruit trees and smaller type trees, like I don't know, I actually don't know what the species of the trees are. Smaller type trees would be crepe myrtles, red buds, and I'm not sure if bay laurels count. Pardon? Okay, so we might, I don't know what the other, but, you know, a smaller tree. And they can be planted anywhere in residents' gardens or yards. They don't have to be on the street. And I actually recommend not to put them on a street area. So, so please spread the word. There's, because 30 trees is actually a fair number of trees. So anyways, it's going to be April 22nd, Earth Day. So if you want an Earth Day thing to do, come out. And if you have any place that you want to put a flyer up, I have a lot, so I would be very happy to give you any flyers. So anyways, and I hope to see you guys there.
Thanks, Carol. I had one question. I know we don't have many native trees in this area, but are any of those trees native species? Are you aware?
Yeah, I don't know. There is a problem with finding small native trees. Western redbuds are natives, but they're not very dependable.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the correct word.
Not a long liver.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thanks.
But I don't know what, and you know, I think that the fruit trees is a good tree to give away because they're usually smaller and people usually have space to put the fruit trees because, you know, it's always the right tree, right place is, you know, the guiding principle of putting trees in. So, thanks.
Thank you. Any other updates of items of interest? Okay, moving right along to future commissioner-initiated agenda items.
Hi there. I've already reviewed this with Crystal, so I think I'm doing the right thing. We have a new member of staff, and his name is Portland Bates, and he works in the city manager's office. He wears 3 hats. I sat with him yesterday at a different economic event, and he is the economic development director for the city. We here on the Environmental Commission make a lot of recommendations that have environmental impacts that are positive and also have economic impacts that sometimes aren't positive. And the Chamber of Commerce reached out to me, some of my old friends, and said, hey, we need to partner together with the Encinitas Environmental Commission, their environmental subcommittee that they have at the Chamber to try to be environmental and business friendly, as well as Portland, who is our economic development director here. So I am asking if we could get Portland to come and possibly give us a presentation on any type of work plan or anything that he has working. I did mention this to him yesterday for next time, as well as the Cindy Darlington with the Encinitas Chamber, who's responsible for that subcommittee, said she would be able to attend as well to potentially give us kind of their presentation on how we can work together. The example was, for me as a surf rider person as well, is that the city enacted a bag ban 2 months before the state did, and that just, you know, they're like, businesses had plans to roll it out, but not roll it out 2 months early, and so something about collaboration and working with our business community for the choices that the choices we make here on this commission.
I would be very interested in getting some sort of group that is interested in the organic waste disposal. They're working with the businesses and working with other stakeholders to see if we can get more education about that. So I don't know if that would be, if that would work with your other groups.
We have an organic subcommittee that could lend a hand there. I'm on it, I'd be willing to.
Yeah. Because I do believe there needs to be a lot more education amongst both businesses and residents in the city.
Agreed. I thought EDCO had a plan, working with the city to roll that out. No,
It's been rolled out.
it's over.
Is that a question or that?
Yes. Is
Okay.
there a continuous rollout and education campaign with the city and EDCO on the organics waste?
Yes, there is. That's being managed by Public Works. Yeah. And there's a plan to hopefully add an additional staff person to support that effort next fiscal year. It's being requested with the budget.
Okay. Yeah, you have my support on that, Commissioner Morrison. I think that would be a good path to get the business community's input. Anybody else?
No, I'm supportive of hearing a presentation, just to learn more. Thanks.
Anything else? Welcome, Commissioner Novi. You're in time just for to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Pretty efficient meeting.
I run a tight ship.
I guess I'll just say we'll retroactively let the record show that Chair Novi arrived at, is that clock right?
6:05.
6:05.
Can I make one comment? And this is not necessarily Environmental Commission, it's city, the dais. And that is, since the Encinitas COVID restrictions have been suspended, is that the right words? I'm not really sure. Can the plexiglass go?
I can ask. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, if you
that's
could
a good
ask for
question.
us.
Sure.
Just make a request.
Yeah.
It was never, yeah,
Yeah, I can ask.
that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, if nothing else, I think we'll move to 12. All in favor of adjournment? Aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.
electric, blah, 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 I don't know what action plan there's still. What do we do to do something with it? Like, it's a huge opportunity.
So they created there's this whole thing, we have to ask Crystal, she might know.
No, yeah,
They created that whole,
first of all, they banned gas, right, so you can't build anything new with gas. So the only thing that's really an opportunity for the city now is like conversion. Like, if people want to conversion. If there is an opportunity there somehow for the city to do something more, and it seems like we could be the ones to push it. But what do we do? How do we get this?
gas.
Yeah, how do we like? I mean, our names are, I don't know, I mean, our names are on it. What, I went to a Crystal Rant actually, where they do it down there. But I don't know, I think there's a bigger pool of people out there that would like, they're doing their remodel, but they say, it's like, I just make it easy. Here's the, there's the, I don't know, I have no idea. But I'm just, I feel like our names are on it, and I'm on my 1 year anniversary of being on this commission, and so like, hey, sir, do something. I was sort of,
Why do you want something? Yeah, I mean, I would start looking into it.
talk to Crystal and come later, okay, and then I'll
Reach
find
out
out.
to Chad.
Yeah, I might have.
Reach out to him. That's it. And he will oversee. And that guy's got time.
Because we don't do anything, all we do is recommend to the council. But
I'm sure you guys could do the letter.
it's for an extension. It's a nice thing for an extension.
I know this first generation, second generation, and they go, oh, well, we're banning second generation, let's go back first. Right.
And then just, so it's more of like, I want something with teams. But we usually, I don't think it makes sense to have multiple stories. Before it goes to the council, like, hey, what's the, reach out to Charles. And then what he'll do, most likely. Because I'm sure
There's already programs in place, it's like,
so that's, so if you know that, or can you struggle for that, figure that out, and then. Okay, I didn't.
Well, it's my Friday.
it's just dirt. Every time the sun comes up, I drive through, it's like.
Yeah, our fence line is right
Anyway, I don't want to. I'm just.
in front of our.
Well, I mean, you can do that too, and the nice part is that, but it's nice to have, because then you have.
Yeah, I've had it. I've had one where
It's a nice activity.
Yeah, like they're like no, corners, they do a lot of.
Yeah, I'll think about it for sure. And I'll let my neighbors know.
Yeah, it's brutal. And my live on rehab. But that's you think that's swirling in my driveway all the time, and I get all the debris.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Going, and they're like, no, it's going to burn. And still comes to Plus my driveway, and I had to go chip out part of the berm to let the water.
Part of that, or do you want?
They're gonna get built. They
You're gonna do it right now?
They weren't.
Give them recommendations.
Other one, they weren't first, and city.
But also look at the front, like,
No. Western National, they. If you go up the right, you can go on properties and something right now.
Man, I got one thing.
You have to go back and figure out.
Right now,
I'll do it. If it's okay if early, I'd rather get.
Man.
Actual review our rating.
They thought it would change, third quarter, then, oh my God. Maybe we're gonna have money. If they don't place the money, they don't get their bonus. Guess what else? So this year you got 400. That was next year you're like at 200 million. So they get to become less, more risk. Well, no, it's later in the year. They become less risk. The risk tolerance changes.
So that's like what my volunteer and I work. I'll make sure next time we actually roll, I'll make sure.
That's not what it is, you know?
Right. One other thing. I take like
Deals are dropping out because you can't buy that.
I did not know the one.
Right. Okay, so, but next week, we tell you our cost of construction. That's a 3-month term. That's not a week. That's about yeah, the interest rate on finance owners, we need to change, we need to change. Yeah, well then, all the office,
I'm looking forward to
a lot of the things, nobody's there. Things are just going into closure on because you can't, they have to you only get a loan for your office building for like 5 years. And then you gotta recapitalize it again. So they're all coming due and the rate is, 3% higher and you have 30% occupancy. So you're like, I can't afford my.
All right.
That's happening right now.
They just do that recently.
Okay.
It's really tough because you need to,
We were gonna try to get out of your meeting.
Oh, you guys are meeting.
if they get away from the two stairwells, yeah. That's it.
But it's, how much Encinitas probably.
Well, Warren,
No, that doesn't have much.
we're gonna talk.
That much, like,
There's not that much more about the, we're on the.
no, he's not talking about that.
Office, big office tower.
So who do you think's gonna go out? That's a big box.
The one place is turned into a pizza store, so it's a beautiful mattress store now.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that was this. The horse is gone.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of offices.
It's pretty toxic. It's toxic because it has to last, unfortunately. It's on my street, I see it all the time.
Why is the green paying more time? What's the other?
The white paint's
It's
just because it's
You look like,
plastic.
So what do you want us to do? Thank you for that.
Sorry, thank you. I did write it in January report. Email me, I'll give you Cindy's information. She said she would come. Oh, I sent them a very long email.
There's research out there, we can access it, but I mean, it's not like we have a budget like we should say to somebody, hey, go and do a test.
Talk to me again about it.
We don't.
I will send you more.
I think there's a lot bigger priorities.
I give them a long to-do list of fun
Reality is,
stuff.
remember when
I'm always at, there's a lot of bigger, Mr. I was out here, and it was great, because she invited all the businesses.
That's a real issue.
Some of yours came, what I would call her and Joe did a great job.
As opposed to something like that long has been going on. But we have to be proactive.
They made a presentation.
These roads, we're making these conversations. Presentation, plastics, or
I'm like, what happened? That's something that's happening to us. Your quote in my paper about this, 2017, we're gonna do this very, can you move this forward? I think there's what's the alternative?
We'll
see.
Dead.
That's my place, but, safer returns.
We're here to help Portland do its job, not make him do another job.
Let's start
We're trying
off.
to communicate that to him, but, right. When what they do, I'm happy to have the conversation.
You're the work in this business.
That's the one that runs the.
Your national secrets we get them.
I don't know enough about that.
I'm just a
I know that, because I was there. as president of that. I agree. You know your boots on the ground. We cannot. We cannot do it. You gotta know water.
My kids come here, they're gonna talk this market.
We can't,
I got pizza.
we can't
Thanks for talking to me.
Well, we did.
help the city say, hey, well, why don't we wait 2 months to do the visit?
City,
She forced them to look at me like questions and change the VOCs with Hanks. Because they're like, yeah, we're gonna roll it out in July.
You can.
No, but I think
You guys do it now in April.
There has to be performance standards for returns.
Well, I don't know about performance standards, but
Material safety deviation. That's kind of.
aggressive way,
some sort of a,
we move
our policy
slowly.
forever ago about VOCs.
So it, around us, last,
That's
not
not
the very first one. And if we could get that conveyed, not torture, already.
Oh, yeah, the procurement.
Yes, it's in the procurement.
Environmental.
Yes.
Procurement policy.
Right. So that's what touches what you're talking about, because, that's the most dangerous theoretical chemical part of those, and the city has to go through a process under procurement if it's gonna purchase paint. Now, what I don't know is like, if it applies to the contractors as well, contractors have to follow, yeah. So there is, so we can, get it, we can look into it,
How are we verifying that they're using the product?
I'm sure, there's always a process, they have to submit, I think they have to submit the name and probably the
Is
MSDS.
anybody actually going in, sticking
No,
their finger there and
no,
going?
nobody is testing, well, because the controlling state and federal law requires those companies to be correct. And wherever they're found to be incorrect, they get sued by a whole bunch of different people, It's California, the litigious environment that controls it. I'll go look at that, I hadn't thought about that, I'll take a look. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Chris has a few pictures.
I appreciate
You missed
that.
it.
I mean, the thing I get nervous about where there's standing water are insects and insect-borne diseases. Exactly.
That's one of your things, like, I don't know, this is your goal, what parts of your things is covers, if you wanna hear about them. You know, you can look at your list.
Yeah, but there's, again, in the procurement
Thanks, Chris.
role, it should be pretty good.
If you put it in my hand, I'm scared to grab it, cause it's the initial priority.
Oh, yeah. And she had a deformed wing.
I do see some.
She was not gonna make it. And we're just giving her a happy final all day. They only live to be about a month.
I have
So
so
you
many
see the wings
babies at my house.
deformed, she can't fly. And she recognizes that we're keeping her warm and feeding her and we're giving her a new environment every day. And I like a bumblebee. Phenomenal house.
There's nobody else to make a